Hey everyone. So Amit, we have been talking about how the e-commerce or as for that matter, all the business are going to change from their existing form to a new thing. And the most common keyword or the most common thing that comes across when there is a when this transformation is going on is omni-channel, and it's been referred to in many different ways: omni-channel supply chain, omni-channel networks, omni-channel marketing, and a lot of things. So would like your word on what exactly do we mean by omni-channel when someone puts up that word?
Yeah, so an omni-channel business or an omni-channel operation just has to do with the fact that you, as a service or product, or servicing the customer in any way, you're doing this on all uh, channels, which is nothing but a way to reach and interact with the customer. It could be a website, it could be an app, it could be social, it could be phones, it could be email. All the various ways in the world that exist, whether it's other people's platforms, you could be available on Amazon, right? So the
Okay.
nature of channels is just you might think of it like a stream of communication from between, rather, the business and the customers, potential customers, and frankly, any member of the network. So the more omni-channel you are, it just means that customers can find you in all the places where they already hang out, using all the technologies and tools that they used in that particular context. It could be mobile phones now that's being used. People are on, let's say, Snapchat or TikTok a lot. So you, as a business, if you're not present in that combination of mobile and social, and perhaps geolocation driven, perhaps affinity driven, communities that are out there on various platforms, and various offline communities, perhaps, that you want to engage with. So you treat your business as a conversation that's happening with people globally, and in any way in which that you can have that conversation, you should be having it. That's what makes you omni-channel.
Okay. But then the second question might arise, that won't it be like a big task or a difficult task to be omni-channel? Like it will require effort from all the directions if you want to be present on every channel.
Yeah, so that's the reason why you have to understand the nature of digital media, because today the internet is what connects all the channels, right? Everything is connected through the internet. And so you have a central way to run your business if you have designed it using technology and using the internet to ensure that this omni-channel conversation is going on. And the way you minimize effort is to go back to first principles, understand the channel is only a channel. And you should be able to build conversational dynamics independent of the channel. So as long as you are able to plug in the notion of a channel using a business process, which can be extended to these types of specific, communities and platforms, then you can essentially have a single workflow that you focus on, which is really the conversation piece. And then there are people, or there are processes, and there are bits and pieces that take that conversation and make it appropriately available, or make it appropriately accessible in the right format in all the different places where people are. So it's really more of a broadcast mechanism to begin with. Right? You should be able to get your message out into the audiences and communities in all platforms, which is a technology challenge to begin with, in the sense that it's not a hard challenge. It's just, you got to make sure the tools are set up. And then your second piece is, it's not a one-way conversation. It's not a broadcast in the traditional sense. So the difference between media companies of the old world and businesses today in the new world are that the businesses today are also media companies. If you're not a media company, then no one knows you. You're not available on the internet. Google
Hmm.
doesn't index you if you're not online. So if you don't have digital media, you don't have anything on the internet.
Yeah,
So by
that's true.
that definition, you're a media company, pure and simple. And so today's media companies are interactive media companies. They have to be two-way communications
Hmm.
and multi-way communications and omni-channel communications, right? Because
Yeah,
these are what's required in today's fluid, digital space, you know.
yeah, exactly. It also includes, I mean, like, it also extends to offline stores, offline distribution channels, offline things as well. And won't I think that would be a little bit of a bigger challenge than to integrate all the technology to for the digital, than to have your supply chain or have your entire system being ready for omni-channel, like being ready for each and everything.
Omni-channel just means that I'm not specific to any one channel,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm going to detach my business function
Mm,
from the specifics of the channel, for example, if I'm going to use a website, and if I only have the website interface as a way to interact with it, then I'm
mm,
tied to that channel.
yeah.
But if I decouple the front end of it, which is the
Mm,
website, from the, let's say,
mm,
an order placing capability, whether it's for your
mm,
B2B buyers or your B2C buyers,
mm,
you now have a mechanism in place that you can plug in other channels. You could plug in an app, you could plug in social, you could plug in a person who is, literally physically walking the streets and
mm,
making sales, and then, punching in those orders through the
yeah.
system, right?
Mm,
So the notion of what is the functions is important. And then you support those functions in various ways that you might interact with your customers and partners and community with, right? So
yeah.
you have to see clearly and decouple what you're doing with how you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So once
Okay.
you know
That
what
makes
you're
the
doing,
distinction. Mm,
yeah, then how you're doing it is a simple thing, right?
yeah. That's true.
And
Yeah. That
regarding
makes the
offline,
distinction. Mm,
yeah, regarding offline, it's really simple also, because the person, forget about the logistics and this and that and that.
mm,
The buyer, the buyer is offline.
mm,
Isn't the buyer
yeah.
offline?
Yeah.
So if the buyer is offline, everything is offline. Where is online? There is no online at all. We're only
Yeah.
dealing with
Exactly.
offline things.
Mm,
People.
yeah. Mm,
We're
people. Yeah.
only dealing with offline. There is no online. You see? So the minute there is
Mm,
only one thing called offline,
mm,
online is just what we discussed, omni-channel,
yeah. Yeah.
right?
That
We're
makes
just
sense. Yeah.
connecting people, that's all,
Yeah.
across
Yeah.
any means of
Mm,
communication. And after all, what is it that I'm sending you? If you're the business, I'm sending you, hey, I want this order, here's the money. You send me back a result of that order, which is a
mm,
receipt and details about my shipment and whatnot, which is another software message, digital message, hopefully sent to your other person or entity, which has got to do
yeah.
with warehousing and shipping and whatnot, and they
Yeah.
do their thing. So when you really don't think about the how, but the what,
Mm, mm,
then you're not in
that.
confusion land.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
When you
That
jump to
makes
the
sense.
how, then
Mm,
you're stuck in specifics. And it's not that you don't need to get to the how. You do need to get to the how, but
mm,
first you got to start with the why. You know,
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
why am I even doing this? I'm doing this because I want to service the offline people. Who are these offline people? I'm offline. Am I
Yeah.
online or offline? You know, I'm obviously
Like
offline,
physical. Yeah.
right? I'm always offline.
Yeah.
I can guarantee and tell you I'm always offline, right?
Exactly.
But I can also tell you that while I'm offline, I'm also online.
Mm,
But it doesn't
mm,
change the
yeah.
fact that I'm offline, right? Like, it doesn't confuse
Yeah.
me. It's not like I leave my physical body and become,
Yeah.
transmogrified into, like, which will happen soon, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to that. But we continue to be offline. So offline is normal. There's nothing complex
Mm,
about offline. Offline is the easy bit.
yeah. That totally makes sense and clarifies where. So block, like, decentralization or separating parts in, like, towards their functionality in, independent of how the process needs to be executed should be the way forward for businesses to be omni-channel. I'm putting it in the right way.
Yes, you have to be clear about the function that you
Yeah.
serve, right? Like, what is your function in life? When I say function, you can also translate that roughly to what is your purpose. Okay, it's the same thing. If you're an individual and you don't have a purpose in life, you're going to suffer a lot because you don't know what you're doing. You're going to just be, any idea will let you, drift off into, confusion land. But if you're clear about what you want, then there is never any confusion, right? It's all about the what I want, not how I want it, because when you're clear on the what, the how will be very flexible.
Yeah.
But if you are starting with the how I want it, you don't even know the what. Because the how is a very limited thing, So we have to start with why. And when you're clear about the why, the what is also clear, right? Look, I want to make money for everybody, and we all need to do it together. And I want to use the existing internet. I don't want to build anything. This is the why. Because the internet is already there. Why should I build it? Now, the what is it? I've already said that. The what is all of us working together collaboratively. And it should be omni-channel. I don't care about how you do it. It should be done. Now, once you know that, if somebody says, hey, how do we do it on the website? I will tell you the same thing you're doing on the website, that you're doing on the Snapchat, that you're doing on Twitter, that you're doing everywhere. There's nothing different going on other than the how. It's like saying the same thing in India or China or in US will be done in slightly different ways because of context and culture and language and currency and maybe other things, right? But you're still doing the same thing. Right? So why get confused about how?
That clarifies a lot. Because with these new keywords being thrown out, or with these new things, it sometimes leads to a confusion among everybody, even business owners or people who have clarity of how they were doing and how it's going to work in the future. With this in the transition, it's a very confusing state.
And they get confused also a lot about, say, for example, the word protocol. The word protocol is the how. That's what I just described. The how is the protocol. Hey, do you know the protocol when you go to China? Do you know the protocol when you go to India? It's not that I need to take blockchain with me when I go there because I'm talking about protocols, right? It's not the hardware. It's when I say hardware, I mean virtualized hardware, which is a blockchain, right? A computation fabric. So it's not the implementation of it. It is the what, the protocol, like HTTP, is a protocol. Everyone can implement it. Browser can implement it, apps can implement it, you can use APIs on top of it, So HTTP is an open protocol and you don't need like specific hardware. It's only the how.
That
That's
varies, that
so
changes.
The functionality, the functional decomposition of a process is the how. I mean, once you understand it and you remove all the unnecessary bits and you make it efficient, that becomes your protocol, and maybe it changes over time. The awake protocol is the protocol of protocols. The question of how do you do anything? If I can define the how for anything, the omni-channel nature of it is irrelevant. It's obvious. Because human beings are doing it directly with each other. It doesn't matter if I'm doing it on WhatsApp or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or Snapchat or TikTok, because it's the two of us that are talking. So the why we know, the what we're talking, and the how happens to be Zoom. What difference does it make?
And I think in the future it will always include metaverses, virtual realities, augmented realities, even AI being assisted in between, or like whatnot. But the process
the
of
reason why yes the reason why we say that the multiverse is awake. What is it that's awake? The whole universe. Once you understand the why and the what, the how is the same, actually, because they all know that it has nothing to do with the how. It's really just the why and the what. Right? So everybody moves away from the how because it's irrelevant, the how. Right? So you're back to the real protocol, which is the human connectivity and the exchange and the value co-creation, which comes from the why and the what.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Amit, thanks so much. It's
yeah.
been such a lovely and clarifying conversation in this confusing transition times, and I hope everybody who's listening to the video would have gained more clarity on decentralization, how things should go, protocols, and omni-channel.
Very cool. Thank you.